Oh, wow.
I know.
Schmancy.
Right, so we're going to be live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello! Yes, it's Tuesday. We said we were going to go up on a Tuesday. We're going up on a Tuesday. Tori, you all of a sudden popped this up and you're on a computer.
It covers my pooch.
Stop it.
Are we on? I don't see us on.
No, we are
Oh,
on.
we're on now.
You're on delay.
Okay, gotcha.
Tori,
Thank
you're on
you.
You can
delay.
watch yourself when we go back home.
What a narcissist.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on. I do want to let everybody know it is National Voting Registration Day. If you haven't registered, go to my link in bio or just go to vote.gov. Everyone register no matter whom you're voting for.
We want people to watch.
Mm-hmm. And we want people to vote.
Message.
Thank you.
Can we put this down?
Yeah, I
It's
agree
weird
with
to
you.
me.
I
Sorry.
agree.
Okay, so Miss Erica Cobb's back.
Yay, Cubby!
So before we get in, because we all picked our stories for today, so we're going to have a little bit more of a structure than last week. Last week, Erica, were you dying? We were off the rails. Were you dying?
Well, I was watching it at a restaurant. Shout out to Falanza in Brooklyn. It's a restaurant that one of my brother's best friend owns. And so we were sitting at dinner. I was with Jeray and Ty, and I'm like looking at it. And I was like, what are they talking about? I'm like, oh, they're on. And so, yeah, I thought y'all did a really great job for the first episode. I mean, I've watched a lot of first episodes, and it also gives us an opportunity to grow as we grow with y'all.
You can't get lower than we did.
No, I think that people like to be a part of day one, and that was like a really good day one.
How are you not an executive?
I
Like the
know.
way that you tell you is just like, Jeff, you
one.
did really good for the first time you've ever tried that.
She's giving us notes from the White House.
I
Yeah.
know.
Literally. Yes.
Seriously. Okay, so Erica, you have to, because everybody was like, "Where's Erica Cobb?" And
I
we-
appreciate that.
Yeah, and we were
Thanks.
like, "She'll be back," but tell everybody because two things: DC and Goldman Sachs. New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I left right after our last show, and I went straight to New York, and I went for Fashion Week. That was super cool. Met up with our dentist, Dr. Kelly. Went to a
By the way, she's so
post-fashion
pretty.
show. She is really pretty.
Okay.
Post-fashion show party, and then Goldman Sachs started on Monday, and that was a lot. Like,
What
I am
was it?
in school, y'all. There was orientation, so each day was like, the first day was like 8 hours, the second day was 12 hours. the
God.
Did you
third day
meet
was about
a
7,
bunch
8
of people?
hours. Met so many people.
And tell
a lot
everybody
of entrepreneurs.
what exactly this Goldman Sachs program is. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's special.
so it's called Black in Business. It's the 1 Million Black Women Initiative that Goldman Sachs kicked off about 3
I'm in
years
that.
ago.
I was about to say, why am I?
I want to take a line from
First
that.
of all,
Sorry.
Jeff took my line.
I know, I
I
did.
was not thinking about doing it.
Is it me? Yeah, not y'all. But yeah, it's all female Black business owners who are looking to scale their businesses. And so it's curriculum partner is Lord, I'm still tired, y'all.
I bet you are.
New York University, NYU Stern program. And yeah, so it's been interesting. Like today I had over 4 hours of homework.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
I
my
didn't think I was going to make it
gosh.
here, but like I can see it already. Like it gave me a lot of confidence in like what I'm doing with the production company. I have 2 clients to pitch, which I'm super excited
my
about.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah, so it was good.
Wow.
But so that happened, and then
DC.
yeah, and I went to the White House.
Wait, can we pause? Is your mic on?
Did
is
you
my
all?
mic on?
I just want to see if her mic's on. Is
Oh,
her
are
mic
people
on?
saying
Did
my
somebody
mic
tell
is-
you it wasn't?
You and her. I just want to make sure we can hear everybody.
Did someone say you?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh.
Do you have a microphone on?
So
I do have a
Tori
microphone
is
on.
watching
Oh, there we go.
the comments.
I have
Yeah.
a
I like
microphone
it.
on.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure y'all can
Oh,
be
should I
heard.
move
I
my
think you
mic
should
up?
turn.
Is
Turn
mine.
it. Thank you.
Mine.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Okay, wait
Yes.
for me.
Okay.
Wait for me, because I want to.
So
okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, Erica
yeah.
was at the White House.
Yes. So the White House had its first inaugural Black Excellence brunch, and it was insane. Like it was so crazy. Everybody Black was there. Okay, like everybody was there.
Like who?
Not Al.
I was taking my son to a dance.
There
What
you
does that
go.
mean? Yeah, I mean, there were actors and politicians and like, content creators and like everywhere you looked, there was someone that you recognized, and people were like coming up to me. So many people, both in New York and in DC, came up to me and was like, "I'm so sad about the show." Like, so many
my
people
heart.
were like, "What am I gonna do now?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like, I didn't even know that they knew who I was. Like, so yeah, there were a lot of people who were very invested, and I appreciated that. So yeah, I did that.
Was
And
Biden and Harris there?
Biden was there. It was hosted by the president and first lady, so they were there.
Dr. Jill,
Wow.
shout out.
Yeah, but let me tell you this about the most special part of DC. I got picked up from Union Station by Tori's dad,
You're so
Jerry.
sweet.
It was like, honestly, I could get emotional talking about it because my
We
mom
cried.
said, she's like, you just hope as a parent that people treat your children the way that you treat theirs. And it's just so nice to know that, you're getting help with, because it would have been nearly impossible for me to make that transition from New York to DC without Jerry's help. And he brought me to the house. Your house is so beautiful.
That's all Judy and Jer.
She took almost 50 years to curate that home,
Since
and it
71.
shows. It is such a beautiful home. He drove me to the
I
White
chills.
House. And he's like, "I'll come back and pick you up."
He
And
was
it's like,
so proud.
How do you get dropped off at the White House? Like,
so
how
what
many
is it?
66th Street.
security steps are
There's
there?
Lafayette, Square Garden, and there's barriers now, and she I'm sure, got off on the side.
Yeah,
Am I
he
right?
dropped me off by Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I just walked like a block, not even a full block, just where because he couldn't get any closer, so where the barricades were, and then you go through security, and then you go through security again, and then you go again. So yeah, it was
Were you nervous
quite-
your credentials wouldn't work? I'd be nervous. Like,
I
I'd
would
like,
too.
be like, no, you're not on the list.
I'd be proud, be like, "What's up?" Hire away.
Why do your credentials
Even if
not
it said
move?
black excellence, I'd be
Yeah.
like, "That's me. I'm here. Yeah.
What are you shaming me? What do you want?
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Erica.
it was really great. Thank y'all for all of your love and support,
Yep,
because
we're
everybody
proud of
was
you.
like, "Thank
Amazing.
you."
That's why
Thank
Erica
you.
was gone last
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
That's why.
Maybe we don't let Erica lead with what she did this weekend. Like,
What'd you do?
build. I was in LA.
Oh yeah, you took Elijah to a dance.
Elijah
Tell
had
us.
his first dance his junior year. I sent you guys a picture.
Describe what the picture was.
He was dressed like, if you remember, there was an R&B singer called Morris Day in the time. He was like a Prince, kind of, not a knockoff Prince, but just kind of like.
He wasn't as popular.
No, but he was very funk. He could dance. He was just an eccentric guy, and that's how Elijah was dressed. Like, just like
So cool.
he had the Liberace cuffs.
Love
and
it.
I said
He
looked,
likes those.
Yeah, he looked like Captain Hook's accountant. He looked so cool. Like I just was like, what a difference in the generations, because the idea of wearing that, I can only speak to you, Jeff, who also grew up in the Midwest, to a dance in high school. That would have been, you would have had to move school districts.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have happened. And so the idea that he was able
This
to
is
do
Peter,
that.
everyone. Say hi,
Hey,
Peter.
Peter. Oh yeah. So the
No,
idea.
I like the behind the
Yeah,
scenes
yeah.
stuff. You know
So-
what I mean?
yeah.
We got to work out the bumps.
Absolutely. So the idea that he was able
Lots
to
of
do that was was really cool.
Cheers
So-
to Elijah, guys.
Yes.
Cheers to Elijah.
He had a great time.
Amazing
I know,
job.
that
Dip
is
it there,
incredible.
With our, well, no, honestly, that's huge.
I know, it's a
Nobody's
big deal.
drinking beer anymore?
I am.
No, water. Water.
Me and T-Bone
I gotta
are.
drive. Oh,
J-Bone
okay.
and T-Bone.
I'll have one beer.
I'm also wearing Erica Cobb's heels, by the way.
That's why her feet are so much bigger today.
But thank you, because I only had flip-flops on, and I didn't want to
Oh.
come in flip-flops.
They want to know the picture. We will put it up.
Absolutely.
Or do you want to show the camera a picture?
No, we'll put
okay,
it
we'll
Yeah,
put it up.
put it up. But
Okay.
it's set in from now on. I'll make sure I have a picture.
If
Sorry,
Elijah
guys.
allows you to. You gotta
He's
ask him.
Trust me.
You're right. The way he looked, though.
He's the most outgoing guy. We had a really interesting conversation. I'll just say this briefly. He said, I'm not sure what I want to do after high school. I'm not sure if I want to go to college. And I was so glad that he said that, because he really loves the theater. And I was like, this is what you love to do. He loves the front of the house. But it's interesting that ideology somehow trickles down to our kids, that like, you have to go to college and do this. But everybody working in this space kind of
An
made their own
unconventional path,
right?
yeah.
So, and I think there's a lot of people like that.
Well, kudos to you for being open and where one, you have a dialogue with your kid where they feel comfortable going
Totally.
against the norm to have that conversation
Right.
with you. And two, for you to be open enough to support an unconventional path. Because so many times, like, kids don't even know what they want to major in or go to school for, and then all of a sudden, they're in school majoring in sociology like me.
Wait, I have to read this comment.
Okay.
Pre says, Al, we all know who Morris Day is, bro. LOL.
I did not know.
Yes,
what is
not
it, the
everybody
bird?
says-
I don't know what
Yes,
that means.
the bird, yeah.
So someone asked me, I was like, oh yeah, like the bird. This was years ago in Chicago. And they're like, you don't know who sings that song. I'm like, yes, I do. Doris Day.
Oh,
And
no.
everybody like, it's like 4 black guys that were like my uncle's age in a tailor shop. And I'm like, it's Doris Day.
Oh, my
Like,
gosh.
no, it's not.
No. They have a scene with him in Hairspray.
Oh, okay.
Where they're actually doing it when they go to the other
Wow.
part of the neighborhood,
Right,
and
yeah.
it's really cool.
I
Always
do
remember
I
that.
do want to say, Suzanne, after working in public school for many years, definitely not all kids need to go to college. Just a little hint: Kamala Harris says she will be trying to change the federal reasoning that you can get into a federal job with no college application. So hopefully, more kids like that will be able to join the federal crew and workforce. Sam, what you did this weekend?
5 minutes later.
Get a government job.
He just said he likes theater. Now you want to push him into
Politics
politics?
is theater. Politics
It
is
kind
theater.
of is, but yeah, I was just telling him about all the different
That's
careers
awesome,
that he
dude.
can do. So
I just like that Tori went from factoids to now you're like using this computer as a security blanket.
It is. Well, it's hiding the pooch, which last
don't
week
have a
we
pooch.
need to
Was
see what people are saying.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Okay,
we do.
good.
You're right.
Yes.
And real quickly, that picture of you and Jerry, Tori,
I know.
he was so proud.
He was.
He was so proud, and I know all
He
of our
was.
parents are amazing, and my mom is like, oh my God, tell the whole crew I said hi. I'm like, Mom, FaceTime. And she goes, oh, no. Like, she doesn't want to be on, no, I can't be on camera with everybody. I'm like, you're not on camera, it's a FaceTime. She's like, no, just tell them I said hi. Just tell them I said.
Is
So
she
my mom
tuning
says
in?
hi. Yeah,
Good.
she-
My mom too. Hi.
she told me she's having withdrawals from DVR.
A lot of
She goes,
people are.
I watch
say
you
that.
like 3 hours a day.
Yep.
And she goes, now I don't see you, but luckily we got this podcast
Yeah.
going. So it's the first time we've been together since the sun has set.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do want to say, Jerry said, I said, would you want her as your daughter? He says, I'm very happy with the 2 I have, but if I had a 3rd daughter, Erica, and he just was in love with her, right? And
I think we have a movie script.
There you go. There you go.
But I will say, I said, we were on FaceTime. She was in my baby room, like the room I grew up in. And I said, I know they're not your ancestors, but my ancestors are with you. And I think that we really connected on that. So I just wanted to put a button on
And
that.
then you said, don't steal anything. I feel like you killed the moment.
At one point, Jerry insisted on putting my suitcase up on the bed, and I was like, no, because we
loves-
just
he has
wheeled
to.
it through the dirt. And so I'm like,
No.
sorry, Tori.
No, I don't care. But he put her in the little elevator. We have a beautiful elevator made for Judy.
Oh my
And I went up the
gosh.
elevator, and then
It's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful
It
home.
is.
it's a beautiful. I
gorgeous.
can't wait for y'all are going to be there.
I
So
I would have hid drug paraphernalia. all
I did.
over.
I said she could have it if she found it.
We
I
said
did.
that we're going to
clearly
do
haven't
Seder
met me.
there.
We're doing Seder.
We're doing
and
Seder there,
Yes.
okay?
That's
So let's
very
At
remember.
that beautiful round table. Oh
Wait to
my
see.
gosh.
Oh my gosh, we're
Custom
doing
made
Seder.
glass.
We're doing Seder.
It's
We can do
stunning.
this podcast from there.
Of
Why
course
not?
we can.
Maybe we should do it around January. Well, we can't do Seder around January,
but we can at
maybe we
least-
should go in January.
Of course.
Why
My
in
father would be
January?
so
Maybe we
happy.
should record in January.
Why? What's
There's
going on
a
with
lot of stuff
January?
happening
There's
in
stuff
January.
happening in my birthday.
Potentially.
My birthday.
DC's great in January.
Oh, Erica has something we don't know, and
Yeah,
I'm
we're
really
excited
happy
for her.
about it. So I'm just going to let her continue to manifest and work
Yeah,
her magic.
that's
but
right.
Good, Erica, because January's not too
Are
far
you
away.
talking about the inauguration by any chance?
Oh.
Look at Big Jeff. Look at the big green on Jeff.
I didn't even figure that out.
Jeez, there you go.
Someone might have tickets or a rooftop we could go to watch it too.
Oh my.
Maybe.
Or
Oh,
lead
she
us
has
into
to
our next
guys-
subject.
Okay,
Yes.
let's talk
Okay.
about this.
Yes.
So, okay, this is quick and very serious, so we want to get to it. The assassination attempt
Right.
that happened. This is the facts. I'm going to let everybody talk. Again, I'm the factoid. He was on the golf course in West Palm Beach, Trump, which is near Mar-a-Lago. A Secret Service that was a hole ahead saw the butt of a rifle sticking through the bushes. He aimed and took fire. There was no shots fired from the rifle. And when they ran after the rifle, they found 2 backpacks, a GoPro, an AK-like long rifle, and a scope that would be easy enough to shoot Trump had he been there. They said he had been there for a very long time. A witness on the golf course saw him jump into a Nissan, I believe.
Ruth, right? His name is Ruth.
Yes.
Last name Ruth.
And they took a picture of the license plate, got it to the Secret Service. They got him out of that car and arrested him. He is in custody. Trump, of course, is okay. J.D. Vance is okay. I cannot tell you how awful it would have been had something happened. Even though I'm not for him, I wish him safety and his family safety.
Of course.
Absolutely. Those are just the facts. I just want to know that's 2 assassination attempts in less than 2 months. And we already moved on to other things. How are you all feeling about that? Should this be a conversation about gun control? I thought maybe Trump would have gone there. I wished he would have, but
well, there was an AK-47 and assault rifles there,
that's
so
right.
that is a good point. But I will say, just to give credit where credit's due, the Secret Service did an unbelievable job. And I know there's still an investigation, taking place on what happened the previous time. But it is. I mean, we look at the state of America. We're very divided. I hope that there's a time in the near future that we can unify again, no matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. Right now, it feels like that's far and few between, and I don't know if we're ever going to get there, considering that this election season, to me, I thought 2020 and 2016 was full of vitriol. I feel like now more than ever. So, I just...
Do you guys think it's suspicious at all? I'm not saying that, but a lot of people feel that this was set up for him to look like a victim, that he set that up, which I think is.
See,
here's
the issue. Right. Here's the issue with that is that
a lot of our viewers are writing in, so I just want to say.
And I mean, obviously, we all have our ears to the ground when it comes to internet fodder and stuff like that. However, if it were something that were staged, wouldn't you want it to look like it's coming from someone who doesn't look like they could potentially be basically someone who would be supporting you? The first assassination attempt was someone who was coming straight MAGA. This assassination attempt, or whatever we're calling it, was another white male. So if you're trying to create havoc and dissension between the two sides, wouldn't you want someone other to be? I mean, when we're talking about the debate and all of that, there's this othering that's happening, whether we're talking about Haitian immigrants or immigration in general, and how serious and how violent immigrants are. So wouldn't you want there to be someone who represents who
that
the
narrative.
other is? So that's why I don't really jive with that theory.
I also don't think the Secret Service, just, I always talk about Evie Pomporis. She's been on DBL. I worked with her almost daily on Dr. Drew. She was someone that worked in the Secret Service. They take their job so seriously, and they are bipartisan in the sense that she worked from everybody from Bush to Obama, and I just don't think that many people, one, can keep a secret.
Sure.
And number two, I don't think somebody that has lived their entire lives risking their own life to do this career that they, I'm sure, I mean, how many people can say that they've been in the Secret Service? I just don't think that they would be part of that scheme, in my opinion.
But it's always going to be part of the philosophy, right? Even the first assassination attempt, which was real, we saw the bullets, we saw someone die. And still the rhetoric online is that was made up, so is this one as well. So it's the rhetoric's never going to stop. Even if you have the facts and the proof, it's just what people want to believe in their head and what social media is feeding out. I did read something that his weapons, though, he was about a quarter of a mile away. And again, I'm part of that, so I don't know. But he was a quarter mile away, and with the weapon he had, it wasn't a great shot.
They said the scope helped.
The first guy definitely had a shot.
Right.
The second guy, just from what I heard, I don't know all the facts. I didn't even know he had an assault rifle.
I got that.
And the serial numbers were
they obliterated.
Off. Yeah.
And they said he could have been. He was there for a long time, and he could have been waiting for Trump to have come to that.
I think that was the plan.
This is my problem with everything now, because it's deranged people want some sort of fame. I guess it's always been the case, because look at all the murder documentaries we watch, but deranged people now are getting in the spotlight, and they think it's their time to shine by doing something like this.
Why do you think he had a GoPro?
Right?
A lot of people think it was to record the assassination.
And I just, that's what I fear coming out of social media is like, I want some sort of fame too, and this will put me on the map at any cost.
The only pushback I'll have to what you guys are saying is, I did not do a deep dive on this guy, but just like I read a bunch of tweets that he had posted. He was banned from Twitter eventually, but this guy was DMing Sean Penn saying, let's go get the jets and fight this war in Ukraine. He tried to go to Ukraine and join the army, and they were like, basically, get out of here. He was suffering from, it seems like, severe mental illness.
Seems like paranoia.
And yes, I mean, just his tweets were in all caps. I'll pay. He was like, I'll pay for the jets. He was gone.
Yeah.
But we can look at him as an individual, but if we, take the view from 30,000 feet, all of these different shooters, whether it be, remember the guy that went after all the Asian spa women that went on the murder spree? The guy at the Pulse nightclub had his reasons. Dylan Roof had his reasons. Whatever, when you're bananas, your reasons are going to be immigrants, blacks, women,
technology,
gay people. But their reasons don't matter because their minds don't make any sense. So trying to make sense of that is a fool's errand.
But think of like just history, John Wilkes Booth, Jack Ruby. You could just keep rattling things off.
Right.
When people have nothing their whole life and they're like, I got nothing anyway. I want to be part of history. That's what I'm scared of now. And not even just presidential situations. Any major situations that go, if I want to take out, I won't name, but a major celebrity, someone that's in the news, I'm going to staple myself in history now. And that's kind of what I'm scared of.
Goes right into schools.
Yeah.
Goes right into schools.
You're exactly right.
But before that, the person that killed John Lennon.
Right.
The
Mark David Phillips.
Right, the person that tried to, who tried to, was it Reagan for Jodie Foster?
Yeah, John Hinckley killed in honor of Jodie Foster, thinking they were like in love and gonna marry.
Right, we're trying to
Make logic, yeah.
Make logic, and these people existed pre-internet.
But
These
that's
are just
why-
crazy people that thought
Right.
that they were. There was a woman that sued Tucker Carlson 15 years ago because she said that they were married, and he was talking to her. Like, schizophrenia is real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we keep going, well, why did this guy do that? I'm like, look at his Twitter. I mean, they're crazy
But
things.
here's the thing, though. I do want to be careful because when we're talking about like mental health issues and the lack of resource for said, and I'm not saying that this is a person who sought out, I don't know what, but I don't want to lump the idea of crazy and deranged with people who are suffering from mental health issues, because we can get a whole nother conversation about the lack of resource for people who are suffering and for people who are wanting help and can't get help. So I'm not conflating the two, but I'm also don't want to conflate the idea of someone who is considered crazy with someone who has
And
mental health
Erica,
issue.
to your point, excuse me, 1 second.
Yeah.
The kid and his mom that just went to jail. Remember how he was calling out to his mom like, "I'm hearing voices. I need help."
Yeah, in
and
Michigan
his mom
too.
gave him the weapon. So a lot of times, even when these people, like you said, to your point, that want the resources, that are like, where are the resources? The only resource that they can definitely get is a gun.
Yeah.
They don't have to wait. They can use a different name. If they don't want to do that, they can go to a private sale and do that in the parking lot. The only resource that you will absolutely never be denied is your access to a weapon. And there is a reason that since that assault weapons ban rescinded, we've seen such a spike, because all these crazy people, Uvalde, the kid, they knew about him for years.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, it really hits me that, as we're doing all this discussion about people's motives, as football season started, Jeff, the Kansas City Chiefs, for their first game, they had an in memoriam, and I thought they were talking about the gun violence that had recently occurred, and they were talking about the gun violence that happened last year at their championship parade. There's
That's
so
right.
many shootings, I don't know which one they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's
so America.
Has anybody even thought about that one? Those are just 15-year-old kids that have beef with each other, and they're not getting like a switchblade like the Sharks and the Jets. They're able to go get something that you should have on a battlefield.
Yeah.
So, like, we're sitting here trying to break down ideology, and I think the bigger issue is that people that want the highest power weapons that we can almost make can have access to them at any time.
Well, most people, how many polls have we taken where the majority of Americans, Republican, Democrat, do want an assault
Sam,
weapons
you
ban.
spent-
It's frustrating
Common
because
sense.
at the end of the day, it's legislation and money in politics that's preventing the populace from getting what they want.
Totally.
So, yeah, it's very frustrating. We have what's our next story?
Our next story is one Mr. Sean Puffy Diddy Combs.
Oh, yes.
So he was arrested.
Erica did a deep dive
Yeah,
on
I
this.
don't know much about this. I know he was arrested. Let's hear Ms. Cobb discuss the context here.
So Diddy was taken into custody yesterday. He's facing 3 counts on racketeering, we'll say trafficking, because we don't want to get demonetized before we get
Is that
monetized.
right?
Yes,
on,
yes.
You can't?
no.
Look at the 2 people drinking
Yeah.
beers. You can't say it.
Yeah, and it's SA. So, trafficking and kidnapping. So initially, no one knew what the indictment was. The word on the street, and this has been reported on TMZ, it's been reported in several different outlets, especially once it happened, was that he was negotiating to turn himself in today. So the fact that the feds came for him, and this is Homeland Security we're talking about, yesterday, means that there's something that occurred that tipped them off that perhaps he wasn't planning on relinquishing himself or turning himself in. So essentially there's been multiple allegations against him. There's like 8 women and 2 men who have opened up lawsuits, and some of them have won, some of them are pending. There was a $100 million lawsuit that basically was a default judgment against him from a man forming a complaint against him. So it has to do with a lot of trafficking.
Yeah.
And
What were these in quotes?
So
it's called
freak off
Freak off.
parties.
What's a freak off party?
Talk about the freak off parties.
Essentially, the allegations are, a lot of them have been substantiated, but the allegations are.
I mean, we reported on it, and we
Yeah.
do our due diligence. This is over at 9 News. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So he was accused of having these parties where either underage, people of age, or trafficking people from other states over and supplying them with drugs and alcohol willingly or unwillingly. And as a result, he and his crew were taking advantage of these people who weren't able to fend for
For
themselves.
hours on end, you guys.
And not allowing them to leave. And once this happened, the retaliation was like when people say, okay, you went to a party, you did this, you did that. This isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about people who were brought in.
Like
There was-
kidnapped.
Yes, or at
trafficked.
least, and then
But
at
also
least
not
not
allowed-
allowed to leave. So
Wow.
yes, that is a kidnapping charge.
Yeah, that's a kidnapping charge.
And it's been going on for decades at this point. People have finally had the courage to speak out. Obviously, the Cassie lawsuit,
Sure.
which he settled within 24 hours, which tells you a lot, started to spark other people coming forward. And this is a case that, I have been following for a long time because I understood that these things were happening before the public understood that these things were
Is it
happening.
because? How did you hear inklings of it?
Well, I have a 1.5 degree of separation from someone who was very affected by this.
Can I ask you something? Someone also wrote in they then recorded it so that they could use that
Right.
recording. Is that
Yes.
also part
Yes.
of these?
To keep them silent.
Oh my
It's blackmail, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then bail was there's no-
Denied.
Yeah,
So
so they
that's
offered
a big
50
deal, too.
million.
Right,
Bail
right.
was denied.
So he
And
has
also-
his passport taken also. He's now
Right.
not a flight risk.
So these are the feds.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with the feds, because people are asking what took so long? The raid happened back in March where they raided, a couple of his homes and all of that. So why now? And if the feds are bringing charges against you, they already have their case.
It's a RICO case, yeah.
So, right now, everyone is just kind of waiting for the next shoe to drop because essentially it's kind of like the R. Kelly case. He did not do this alone.
Yeah, someone's saying put him with R. Kelly. Can I ask what you guys think? Do you think J-Lo knew a little? I'm just saying this because I want to know what you guys think, and also people are asking.
So I don't know if J-Lo knew.
Again, we're
because
all speculating.
I would assume based on J-Lo's status, even at that time, that would have been something that she likely wouldn't have been subjected to. I don't know that though. I think what's interesting is J-Lo would talk about how when he messed up in their relationship, he would come with these massive bouquets of flowers, and all of these other victims have come forward to say the same, like it was the same playbook. It was always like these ginormous bouquets of flowers in order to apologize. So I don't know what J-Lo was subjected to. There was some speculation around the Cassie filing that he has the women in his life hold on to his peace, and that J-Lo might have had something to do with that night that there was a shooting. The woman who was shot in the face at the nightclub has been very, very open about her story, the lawsuit, the intimidation that followed. So there's a lot of stuff that's out there, and a lot of things are on record that people were just too scared to talk about.
Isn't it crazy to think, when I look back at, obviously Diddy has a long career, but even when he was in everyone's homes and making the band, and he was seen as this beloved businessman. Me too.
I loved him.
And I've waited on him in the clubs. He wasn't always the nicest, but he was put on a pedestal as not only obviously an artist, but an executive, a businessman, somebody giving younger, hungry, artists an opportunity. Totally. And then you see the real deal.
How long ago did you watch Making of the Band?
I saw the one
when it was fresh.
When it was first.
When he made them walk to get the cheesecake.
Right. So I'm wondering if we all watch that again, if we would watch it with different lenses,
so.
Because the idea of the way that he was treating
Remember, he
these
made them all
young
walk
artists,
to
right, to get by the cheesecake, all of the things that were happening, and what happened after to a lot of these artists.
Totally right.
At the time, it was entertainment, it was reality TV,
exactly.
And now you're looking back on it like, who does that?
Now, Tupac, I just have to ask, people are bringing that up.
Why?
There is a rumor that Diddy organized or was part of the hit on Tupac. I've heard this for a decade or more. Have you ever heard
the
that?
whole story, right? Because remember when we were going to cover it at DBL, you were giving a whole rundown. You followed this for years.
I followed it, but it seems, and I don't even like to speak on it, but it involved gangs and just...
It definitely does.
Yeah, it seems like it involved
Gotcha.
gangs. But, removing Puffy and just looking again from the 30,000 feet view, it just seems like these power structures, we keep talking about different people, but most times, not anytime, there's a lot of people that are very gracious in positions of incredible power, but a lot of people can't handle that. And the idea that every young person that wants what's behind me has to go through me, that kind of power just seems like it not only attracts a type of sociopathic person that wants that power for that specific reason, but also that it empowers them to surround themselves with so many yes people that financially depend on them like, well, if, I ride this person's coattails, if they're the CEO of this brand company, when they go to the next one, I'm gonna be even further up. So they have this steel wall of protection around them, and they have the ability to create whatever image they want. The only difference is now, because of social media, we are seeing the Harvey Weinsteins go down. We are seeing the Puffies go down. But up until then,
how long has this been going on?
It's been going on forever.
I know, forever.
But probably worse.
In politics, people do it too. They get all their yes men, they get all that power. It's very similar. The Nixonian psychopath, the sociopathic, I need it all.
It's weird how society just shuts people up. Like the Corey Feldmans have a lot to say. And they're like, this guy's crazy.
And Elijah Wood.
Totally.
Aubrey O'Day had a lot to say, who I know I did a show with. We didn't speak about this at all, but people just chalked it up to, she's crazy. Don't listen to her. And she's been singing the same tune, just like Corey Feldman. I'm not combining the two at all.
You're so
I'm just saying,
you're right.
she's been saying this for a long time.
Very
Mace,
consistent.
who was Puffy's partner, he turned his back on him. I mean, a lot of people turned their back on Puffy over the years, and nothing could touch him.
Kanye said it.
I know. I mean,
You
what?
scared me. I don't know what you mean.
Kanye say it?
I don't know what she means. I'm not
When did he say it?
Kanye said that people show up not alive. around. So
When
he was
did
like,
he say
Like
this?
Murder, She
there
Wrote.
was a situation, it was when everyone was like, Kanye's on a rant again, Kanye's on a rant. But he said that Diddy was like, meet me.
I do remember this.
And then he was
Yep.
like, nah, I'm not meeting you.
Yep.
It's like, you need Jesus or something like that. And he's like, yeah. So,
Look, Erica, it tracks. I mean, but it's interesting how we look at this, and for the better now, 2024, we realize who these people are. But look at the way our society celebrates somebody like Hugh Hefner.
Hefner, you're right.
Like, what do you think was going on
Totally.
over there?
Yeah.
There was
Totally.
a 12. Imagine you doing something so shady. They needed 12 hours to break down what was going on at that house. 12 hours on commercial television.
And how about people knew what was going on, and they still were dying to their last breath to get into one of those parties, knowing what was going on.
Complicit. Complicit.
Well, I've been to one of those parties and I did not know. I was like 22 years old.
Oh, then you're allowed.
I tried my hardest to get in.
I also want to go.
You do have to send a headshot.
No,
It's
I didn't
really
know. I
weird.
didn't know the
Yeah.
detail of what was
I
going
just
on.
wanted
but
to
I
see.
always did.
I've
try
always
to get
wanted
in
to
there.
But you know me, I'm very naive and innocent. I remember going into that party and I wasn't allowed to bring my boyfriend at the time. And so I
that
remember.
wasn't an indicator.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, well, I did know a couple girls going, so that helped. I thought Hollywood, they don't want men there. So and I've always worked in the club, so I was like, I get it. They want mostly girls for their douchey older men. So I got that.
That's an industry term.
But I wanted to just see it, right? To Jeff's point,
Yeah.
the fascination of it all. And I remember going, and first of all, you're not allowed to drive there. You go to UCLA, and there's shuttles that take you there. And first you send in your headshot, you get the approval, and long story short, I just remember I stayed maybe an hour and a half. The food was phenomenal.
The food was good?
Food was phenomenal. There was food stations everywhere, but I just felt gross.
Did you get the feeling there were two parties going on when you guys went there?
I didn't go there.
Oh, I thought you went.
He
I
wanted
could see you
to.
getting in
I
there.
wanted to.
It just, it felt gross.
But
It
just
was,
the fact of look at it in 2024 terms. Send in your headshot, and I'll let you know.
I know.
yeah. I know. I understand. I never went to a Diddy party, but I did go to an R. Kelly party.
Oh.
Same thing. Arrived with the guy, our friend, who was actually got the invite because he worked for Playboy at the time.
Jeez.
And we got to the gate, and there was like a little stand thing that you had to give your ID and all of that, sign an NDA.
Whoa.
And
At the gate?
and they told him like you can't come in. So there were three of us, so we went in, and you do get the feeling that there's more than one party going
Okay,
on.
yeah, I felt the same way.
Oh.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to play this little game before we end with your conversation about someone special that was on your podcast. I was
Yeah.
with that. It wasn't
you.
It wasn't you. Okay, Sammy.
Yes.
This is yours. We are going to talk about a BuzzFeed article that people born before 2000 are revealing. What skill did you have that is absolutely useless today? So I'm going to give you some examples.
Wait, this is my story.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I thought I was supposed to like give it off and then give you guys the thing. So go ahead, please.
So you're the moderator?
No, I'm trying to get.
No,
I'm
it's
trying
just-
to
I
organize.
like it.
Set the table.
I just want, so
Please.
this is something that I found that I thought was really funny because it went viral. So somebody named Jenny, #Jenny, she wrote on X, people born before 2000, what trivial skill do you have that no one uses anymore? So we're gonna go through some of them. Someone wrote in, I know all the words to Gangsta's Paradise and the Fresh Prince theme song.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, let me hear Gangsta's Paradise.
We spend most our lives living in a gangster's paradise.
Yeah, and then Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Remember, she turned the chair around. Now
Yes.
I'm cool.
That's how you symbolize you're the cool teacher. Like, look, we're not playing it straight here. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, I so remember this. I can make a book cover out of paper bags
Yep.
and newspaper.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
That's so true. That is
then we would
so
draw
true.
on it.
Yeah. Why was it a brown paper bag? We always
Did you
Because you could customize.
Yes. I used to draw on it. Yeah, you're
Did
right.
you write like, I love Jordan on your shoe?
Oh,
Did you guys
yeah.
do that
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
My
didn't do
parents
that?
would have been like, I spent all that money, and
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna do.
No, this is later on in the
Yeah.
school year.
You would write, I love Jordan. You would do that?
Not like Michael Jordan. I'm
No,
just
I
using
know,
my
like
wife's
like
name.
of course, but like people would do that?
Yeah, you don't
I
remember
did.
that
Oh,
heart?
I did.
And remember, like, the passing notes, like, no.
Dude, we used to sign language with kids. We all learned sign language, and I'd be like,
You guys all learned sign
Esteban,
language?
yes, and be like, Esteban is cute. What a dorky way to pass
I love
notes.
it.
I think it's a great skill set.
It
I do
was.
too.
It
I love
was.
that. Okay, so we have a lot more. My phone just, okay, here we go. All right.
Let Tori make up another story in the
Yeah.
meantime.
I didn't make that up. You can ask anybody.
Megan Alexander said, "No, Jeff, we wrote answers to tests on the bottom of our shoes."
That's good.
You know, real quick, just to go to another. Remember those big calculators?
Yeah,
Yeah.
TI-83s.
So I would write everything on the inside. That was my trick.
You
What?
cheater.
Yeah, I was not smart, but I was crafty.
Yeah,
I
you
remember
were.
kids
I
that
respect that.
They used to. Some of my homies would do what Jeff did, and
That's
the
hard
print
to
would
do.
be. It would look like a jail note.
Micro-
Yeah,
yeah,
tiny.
I mean, the tiniest, almost
Did
a
it really help
magnified.
you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I used to write
but-
boobs on that thing,
What?
remember? 8008. You guys know
But you
5.
could do that with
To
any
be
calculator.
Right.
perfectly honest with you, like cheating is a skill, but it gets in your brain somehow. So when you kind of get the question, you're like, I wrote that.
You
I
already
know
knew it.
the
You already
answer.
knew it.
He's
True.
studying.
You're
Yeah.
low-key studying.
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So a little respect.
Did you learn by accident?
The next one is recording songs off the radio using a blank cassette tape.
I did that.
That's how I
Sex and
started
candy.
my radio career.
I tell them what you,
Yeah,
because you
so-
should do the beginning and the end, right?
So I would do like everyone else would do. Like you have to record and you got to get really good because you want to get it right before the end of the song and the jock comes on, and then you want to start the next one right as the jock is hitting the post, and then you get the song and you have like a mixtape, right? But when I was grounded for the summer, I had gotten all
summer?
the songs. Yes.
Did you steal a car?
I was disrespectful to my parents.
And you were grounded for a summer?
I was grounded for the whole summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
That's Danny Zuko.
gosh.
I gotta
when-
up my parenting game.
Yeah.
That's when I discovered that I had like every song on the playlist at the time. And so then I started recording the jocks only. So I would start the minute the song
That's
went
so
off.
cool.
And then before the song started, and I would get a full list of all these jock voices. And then I would get on my karaoke machine and emulate the jocks. And that's how I ended up in
That's
radio.
incredible. How old were you?
12.
Unbelievable.
How
See?
come that's cool? My sign
No.
language isn't.
Because
No.
somebody else has to speak
Yeah.
sign language in the class.
The group
Yeah, but
learned.
you didn't
And
want to
then
be
and
like.
then you came back with boobs.
I know. I know.
Casey Kasem, I just have to shout out. I always used to record in the summer, Casey Kasem.
Shout out to Casey.
Casey.
Am I right?
Top
Yeah.
40.
Top
May he rest.
May he
Yes.
rest. And he was
And-
treated terribly in his end. Okay, sorry.
Any gamers out there, blow cleaning game cartridges? You remember doing that?
Oh, your own method.
yeah.
Like tap, tap, blow, blow,
Yep.
tap, tap, blow, which, let's say, she said. That's what she said.
Okay. Sorry, Mom. I know you're watching.
I'm sorry, Heidi. I thought I'd keep it spicy.
No, you keep it spicy, girl. My mom doesn't care.
Okay.
I can remember how to get to places based on landmarks, street names, block numbers. How did we all do that?
Well, that's before the overdevelopment of the cities that we lived in, because you can't do that now.
We knew how to
Yeah.
get everywhere just
yeah.
based off the gray house
Yeah,
and
the wicked tree.
I know.
We had a wicked
But
tree.
no, I disagree. You can do that now. You just have to grow up, turn your GPS
Why?
off,
No
and
thanks.
figure your
He's
way
right.
around your own city
She's right.
like an
No.
adult.
No,
That
because
is Erica,
No.
Jeff.
because on Scottsdale and 7th Street, one week it's a Popeyes, the next week it's a bookstore. We don't know.
How are you that lost in your own city?
No, she's right. I'm lost
She's
in my own
not.
city.
I am
Yes, she
too.
is.
I don't know where I
Okay,
am.
this
Look.
is wait. This is
Yeah.
one I don't know of, and I feel like Al knew how to do this. Maybe you did too. Program a VCR.
Oh yeah, to record at a
No.
certain time.
No, that's not what they mean.
Yes, that's what they mean.
Oh,
That's
then I knew how to do
exactly
it.
what it
Okay.
means. Also, does
Way to
it?
cave on that after you stood up so.
Except that there was a building kit, like you build the whole VCR.
Everyone keeps writing this thing. Do you guys remember this, Sam?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
This one.
Yes,
The
yes.
fortune teller.
What
Yes.
was that called?
Who you're gonna marry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Match. Remember
What
Match?
kind of house
Match.
you're gonna live in?
I was supposed to be in a
Yeah.
mansion.
I
man, we
love
should do
David
that.
Cassidy.
Does anybody know how to
Mansion,
fold that?
apartment, shack, and house.
House. That's right.
That's really good.
And remember who are your favorite? How many kids? Pick a number.
Yes.
What remember?
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. Being comfortably bored. I don't think anyone
Brooks
knows
and I
how to
just
do
talked
this anymore.
about this, right? Without our phones, I was left without my phone at the Apple store, and Brooks walked away to go shopping, and he goes, "You'll be in the 90s for the next half an hour." And I realized I was in 1990s without any technology, and I just had to sit there and think. and like think about things.
That must
be
have been
creative.
very meta to have all that technology around
Right. It
you,
was.
but you couldn't control
Couldn't
it.
touch it. It was weird.
You know, I don't know for anybody else. We actually talked about this last week on 9 News, but I just have guilt when I sit around. You know, like we've been out of work now for not even 2 weeks. But if I sit down and watch something like a football game, I'm just like in my basement, like I gotta go water something, like real quick at a commercial, like just pretend like I'm doing something or like paint something, you know? And I'm like, I can't. I just have like this guilt of sitting down, and I don't know. I'm like, you know what? Yesterday I was watching a game and my kids were in the yard. I'm like, oh God, I gotta go play with them. So I was like, went out there and just threw the football. I'm like, what am I doing watching
But
this
can
game?
you relax at all? Okay, so that's not great because you don't want to always think everything is.
The only way I can relax is late at night when everybody's sleeping.
Same.
Or if I get up early and then I could do a workout on my own.
That's the only
and
time.
Then I'm like at peace and I can watch stupid reality shows.
And you're
just
allowing
And then as
yourself.
soon as like they come down, I'm like, I gotta wrap this up.
Like Tori
you
will
know?
always text me during a debate in real time, and I'm like, I don't get to watch this until the kids are down.
Yeah, I
So-
know, with children,
because I
that's
can't
different.
sit down. To your point, until
I have,
everyone,
like,
because those are
internal
littles.
guilt
You have
and
older
ADD
kids.
mixed in one.
But
Yeah.
do you guys think that's a result of just this work hustle flow
Right,
culture that
right.
kind of are you up? Are you grinding, Erica?
I'm
And it's
grinding out.
You
Yeah,
definitely
she
are.
is.
You
We're
definitely
not
are, but,
worried
like,
about Erica.
I feel like
Oh,
you
wrap
still
this
ask
one, okay.
yourself that. I would also say spelling should be on there.
And cursive.
Being
That's good
able
call.
to
Cursive
spell.
is on there. Spelling's on
Can I
there.
tell my favorite spelling story really
Yes,
quickly?
because yes.
Because I know Peter said we got to move on, and we're listening to Peter. Shout out. But you know, back in the day, there would be people in your neighborhood that dubbed
Shout out to Peter and Casey.
Yeah.
Me,
There were people in your neighborhood that would dub VHS tapes from. You would go to Blockbuster and duplicate it illegally.
They were called bootlegs.
Yeah, and they would sell them.
Yeah, the New York subway.
Well, yeah, but like where I'm from in Cleveland, like there was no subway, so there was just somebody whose aunt did it, but there was no spell check yet. So you forget, like people didn't know how to spell anything up until spell check. So I remember that movie Set It Off with Queen Latifah and Jada Pinkett.
Yeah.
And we acquired the tape, and it said "Set It Off" with Queen Latifah and Jane Puckett. I will never forget that. No one knew how to spell it. How would you even go back and check any of that? You're just
And
like, I don't
nobody's
know.
gonna question you because they're
know.
not reading the cover. They just want to make sure that there isn't a man's head in the middle of the
Yes.
screen
Yep.
as you're bootlegging a video.
Yes.
Queen Latifah.
What's the
Jane
next one,
Puckett.
Tori? Who's
Okay, next one we are talking with Erica about a very special person that was on your podcast.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
the
this is just a
comeback,
quick
yes.
thing, but so I interviewed Marian Jones, who was
Crazy.
the Olympic gold medalist, and at one point she was the fastest woman in the world, and she experienced a setback season like we had never seen before. Unfortunately, she got caught up in the Balco scandal.
What is that really quick?
Barry
which-
Bonds, the steroids.
Oh, is that right?
It was
Yes.
it was the lab that
Oh.
that they originally weren't even looking for all those people, but they broke into the lab and they found a list with like A-Rod's name.
They
was
just
on
put their
that.
names
Marian
down?
Jones, yeah. So please continue, but like the most famous athletes on the planet back when we deified athletes.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And so, unfortunately, her story goes, she's called in, she's given a queen for the day, and she gets caught up in the craziest way. And when I interviewed her, I wanted to interview her because obviously my brand is Comeback and the podcast is Comeback with Erica Cobb. But we never talk about when someone has a fall from grace and all of the things that could potentially lead up to it, whether it be their fault or the circumstance or any of that. And we throw people away so easily. And this was a woman who was a hero of mine growing up and for so many other people, and she represented something that we had never seen before. And the way that she was treated and punished, and then we didn't hear from her. This happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, she's thrown away. She
Right.
really was. Yeah.
So she's back, and I saw her on Instagram. I reached out to her, and I was like, I want to talk to you about
Did you
your
just
story.
cold like wow?
Yeah. And she told
Chutzpah
me,
people.
well, I thought she's having a comeback. I want to engage in this comeback story. She was so transparent with her testimony. It's a 1-hour sit down. It's on podcast on Come Back with Erica Cobb, but it's also on YouTube. So you can follow Come Back with Erica Cobb on YouTube, watch it, and then on Thursday I'm going to do a YouTube live, and we're going to do a recap of the podcast.
Wow.
There's so many comeback
wait to
gems
see
on
it.
it,
Oh my
and I just
gosh.
wanted to do a promo on it because Marian is definitely somebody that we need to hear from.
My God,
Amazing.
imagine
Well
being the
done.
fastest woman
No.
in the world.
Imagine going from this high to completely like people making fun of you.
She had a
and
Nike campaign.
I know.
Yeah.
She was on the
Should've
cover of
gold medal.
Vogue.
I
She was on-
know.
Wow.
Today she just posted all of her covers, and it is crazy to see. But when you hear her story, it's going to blow your mind. It really isn't anything that people were talking about in the media, because the media defined her narrative, and she's back to say that she defines her
Good
narrative.
for you,
Ooh, I
Erica.
love that.
Good for you.
That was really
over
good.
the world.
I know.
It's important.
In the last 10 minutes, I think we should talk about maybe what our plans are for the next week and how we're feeling.
I wanted to bring something up really
Please.
quickly. We do have a little time. The Emmys just recently passed. And
We were nominated and won.
Yeah, we did it. But Hacks beat out The Bear for Outstanding Comedy. But then people were saying, is The Bear even a comedy? It's more of a dramedy. But then I was talking to my girlfriend, Sarah, about it, and I was like, well, dramedy isn't a real word, but yet it is a real thing, if that makes sense. So is it fair to even put a dramedy up against the comedy? Because I would argue...
Should there be a dramedy category?
Well, that's a great
Right,
point.
There should be, but then what defines a dramedy, Sam? Because is it 90% drama, 10% funny?
And may I add to you, Hannah Einbender, who plays Hacks, who's in Hacks.
She came to the show.
She did Lorraine Newman on
Uh-huh.
SNL.
Yep.
She wrote on Twitter, F the Bear. Because she
Oh,
was
did she?
mad that they were up for comedy.
Right.
So this goes far beyond just us discussing it. People were like, it shouldn't even be in that category.
Right.
So I
Well,
kind of...
Shogun was supposed to be an anthology series,
Right.
but then they moved them into series because it had so much love that
they
they
put it-
moved it into. So there was some.
I don't like that when they move it
They
to
move-
a different category where
yeah.
they know
They
they
can
can't
win,
win,
right.
and they could win in this category. I don't like that. You know what I love
You
about?
cheated on your shoes.
Huh?
No, his calculator.
calculator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. I was like,
But
what?
no, really quickly, Shogun, they didn't make the choice. It's
But
because
in the past, in the past,
right.
yeah.
They didn't
I
make the
just,
choice.
You know what? I didn't even watch the Emmys. I didn't even know they were on.
Yeah.
It felt so good.
I
the
know.
Bears were on.
Yeah.
Bears, did they win?
lost, So
They
if you
looked
like,
all
they
right.
lost. No, they got
Jeff, they
killed.
lost
They
by
got
6
killed.
points.
But
We'll talk
I didn't
after
even
the show.
watch. I didn't even watch, and I went on Instagram the next day, and I was like, wow. that's
Gene
don't have to
Smart
worry
won,
about
right?
that.
Didn't
Gene
Gene
Smart
Smart
won, and
from Hacks,
Eugene-
she won?
Eugene Levy, I did see, they hosted, he and Dan,
Yep.
his son, they also made jokes that they said, well, we can't make jokes about the bear because there are no jokes in the bear.
Oh, wow.
So it was like it was very
Right.
meta about it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And just really quickly to throw this out to you guys,
Damn
some,
bears.
some of the other dramedies that were up there that I didn't even realize they had. Entourage is considered a dramedy. Sex
Oh.
in the City.
BoJack Horseman
considered-
was one.
I
don't know
thought that
about
was a
BoJack
that
Horseman.
was
It is. It's
random.
an animated cartoon about
Oh.
a horse that may want to kill
Oh.
himself. So it's
Tori,
like,
just read these.
Yeah, and
I would say our show, Brother Son, would be a dramedy.
that was in there for
Yep.
dramedy. So it's like, I just think we need to figure out a way to separate dramedies from comedy, but that's very difficult because if you're a comedy, but your last two episodes are kind of serious, then are you a dramedy
And
now?
Don't give.
Golden
is this
Girls had
right?
serious
Do you
topic.
only send in one episode? What am I thinking about?
I don't know.
I thought you sent in like to
I
get
did
it.
too.
For our
this
Emmys,
is-
How does that
yeah.
work?
Okay,
right?
so this was what I was going to speculate on it, is that if there's a few categories that they can apply for, then they might just be sprinkling the categories.
But I think you send in one episode.
but what if
don't
you send a funny one into the comedy one, a
Right,
serious?
right.
I don't like
I
that.
don't know the rules.
I don't know the rules either. I just know for other award shows you can sprinkle a
Right.
category.
Well, then
so
that makes sense
if
into what we're
that
saying.
sounds like that's what happened, but I've never.
Yes,
Yeah, I
and
don't
people
know.
are writing about
Emmy.
BoJack Horseman as
Oh,
a
yeah,
dramedy. I'm just
yeah,
letting
you
you
feel
know.
good
Well,
about
you
that?
did bait them.
I did.
Yeah, you feel good about that?
I don't think anybody would have been writing about BoJack Horseman.
No, they were. It's the most famous drama. You guys,
The
The most famous?
you guys understand, right?
The most.
He just
I
nodded.
did like
I've heard of
silence.
it.
Yeah.
but I don't know if people are writing in about
Wait,
it.
I
They
want
are.
to. If
Don't
we don't have
forget
anything else to talk about, I need to find out from Jeff how Casa Bonita was because my husband waited in that line, the queue, 30,000 1,000
Tell
people.
everybody what Casa Bonita
what
is.
do you
Okay,
mean?
first, everyone I'm sure knows what Casa Bonita is
No.
because
How
no.
would they?
No.
It's a
No,
local
only
restaurant.
in Colorado.
It's a
I
Denver
knew,
thing.
I knew what Casa
I didn't know.
South Park.
We all know
I
Larry's
think-
place on Fifth.
Yeah, so
I knew what
people know from South Park.
Yes. Okay, so I knew what Casa Bonita was way before I moved to Denver. I guess because of South Park. I
You
just
should have partied more. I didn't know anything.
I didn't know about it.
I don't
So
know about
Casa-
restaurants in cities I've never been to.
So Casa Bonita became famous because of South Park. It's a mainstay here in Colorado, in Lakewood. Is that where it's at?
Yeah.
Yeah, it closed and then reopened.
So
Why Trey Parker bought it.
Even though before Matt and Trey Parker of South Park bought it, because they grew up in the area and they grew up going there, was a lot of nostalgic pull for a lot of people that grew up in Colorado. Why, even before they redid it, people loved it because there's always cliff divers.
Yeah, it's weird,
Always
y'all.
entertainment, puppet shows,
jumping.
weird things,
Right.
ride on, what do you call those, like
Dirt bikes.
What is
I'm
this?
hoping that
you put a coin in and then you ride it. You know what I mean?
Leave it,
The
leave it,
toys
leave-
for kids. The toys for
I
kids.
know what you're saying. They're not
Anyways.
there anymore. That used to be outside McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right? Or
Yeah.
something
Oh,
like
the
that.
horsies and stuff.
So long story short, it went under. Matt and Trey Parker bought it, put like $20 million, if not more money
Yeah, put a
into
lot
it.
of money.
Wow.
Better
And
food.
better food, better drinks, and they've redone the whole atmosphere. So before Jeff chimes in, because he actually got to go, the other day they opened up the reservations for founders only. I'm a founding member, so is everybody else. I don't know how I became a founding member.
founding member?
Yeah, I got a card in the mail.
What is this, the skulls? Founding member.
It didn't mean anything. 9 o'clock
I'll
founding.
tap you.
9 a.m. founding members got to make a reservation. I had no luck. It closed. Done. Then really quickly at 3 p.m. it went up to the public. Mark gets on there. 30,000 people in queue. He finally 12 hours later got us a reservation, but we
course
don't
he
get to
did.
sit by the water.
I thought you meant you waited. You literally
no,
waited in
you-
line.
Online like T-Swift.
Oh, gotcha.
So you went.
Saw waited in that too.
Did she get one?
No.
See, at least we got one.
So what
Sorry.
happened? Tell us.
So I waited over a year and a half.
I
Yeah.
texted you. I'm at Vesper, and he goes, "I'm at Casa
Did you,
Bonita."
Yeah.
did you get to
That's
be
crazy.
at the water?
I did the waterfall. But here's the thing. There's only a couple that are against the rail. And we sat like where you are, the rail is where you are.
What?
And I was here. So you see the divers, I have amazing
Can I
videos.
mosey on over?
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
kids
good.
were right next to it. It is, I'm not encouraging people to get high, but it's like one of those atmospheres. Like there's dudes
like
just
Disneyland?
diving while you're, I felt like I was on vacation.
Keep
we brought the
talking about
kids.
it.
Chips and salsa, the best.
What?
The best. They got
Free?
like lime chips.
Free?
No, you pay. So it just
I'm
to give you
sorry.
the price breakdown, it's like $250 for us to go there.
A
The
family of
food-
four.
Family of four. The
Okay.
food isn't great. I guess it was worse before.
It
Way
was, it
worse.
was inedible before.
I went there before.
Chips and salsa.
Me too.
Amazing.
I can't
My
wait.
food was okay. It was
Okay.
good, but you know it's overpriced because you're paying for the
You
atmosphere.
have entertainment.
Right. So there's guys diving in there. When I was there, it was
Are
just
there
guys.
ladies?
It was just guys when I was there. Sorry. Sorry.
That was the package, Jeff.
I know. You racing. There should be women there.
Wait, is there a magic show, puppet show?
So we did that up there, right?
Yeah.
And there's no tipping, but there's tipping because I tipped everybody. So you think I'm a tight ass? Yeah. I tipped everybody, and there's signs
Jeff
that
has
says no
white
tipping.
envelopes for everybody.
No, I did. I tipped everybody in there, you know, because they work. But so
Yeah.
then you go to this puppet show.
you know they get 30%.
Of
Like
course.
the kitchen takes 30%, and,
Yeah, because
and then
the
they all
meal's
pool.
$250 for chips
Yeah,
and salsa.
I don't know if you necessarily. I'm all for tipping. I don't know if you necessarily have to tip.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you do. There's bars in there. Yeah, we gotta hurry up. But yeah, so there's a puppet show. Can't have your camera anywhere in there. 'cause
Really?
They want
The
to
whole
make
time?
it unique to your own experience.
I
Do you
like
have to
that.
put
I
your
won't
phone somewhere else
describe.
or no?
No, they just there's
Oh.
people there watching.
Oh, wow.
There's a puppet show. There's a weird cave that you go in. There's a jail cell that we took a picture
Oh,
in
I
with my
can't
family.
wait.
So fun. Just totally random things.
Like an
in there.
amuse- wow.
Just totally like who thought of this place? Let's have a dinner. Let's have divers.
I love it.
Let's have a cave that you go to. It's just like there's stars on the ceiling.
Really?
You
Oh,
spend. There's
so
an arcade
excited.
in there. You explore
How long
everywhere.
I
is the
can't
total
wait.
We were there
experience?
for like 3 hours.
I wanna
go.
So
I
totally
wanna
worth
go.
We'll in
it.
October. I'm
If you're
so
ever
excited.
Denver and you can, and the ticket's so hot, it makes people want to go. The
Yeah.
perfect like experience. But we had a great time. We got on the list like, and then we found out like, would you like to buy tickets? Right when we lost the job, and I was like, $250 for a dinner. I'm not going to this. And I'm like, I waited for a year and a half, so let's go. Yeah. And I just made an excuse
You
like for
gotta
the kids.
treat
birthday.
yourself.
But you also did it really quickly. You also did it for Leighton's birthday, right?
It was late, and they're a month apart on each
Yeah.
end, 23 months. So I said, boys, this is for your birthday.
Now, are the drinks? I'm sorry to ask. Are the drinks good? I know the food's not great. Are the drinks good?
You could get whatever you want. They have
The
actually
drinks prior were-
They have a Casa Bonita Mexican lager that's kind of like limey, so I was drink with the locals.
And the drink before was just like one of those slushy
really?
margarita
Oh no,
machines.
they have a full
Yeah.
bar.
Oh, they have a full
yeah,
bar
they
now.
changed it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's so many other things, and there's a private area. It's just, you guys got to go, and then one day when this podcast goes sick, we'll have a private party there and just get wild.
Okay, 25
It's getting
seconds
sick.
left.
There's 410 people in the
We
house.
love you guys
500.
okay, so just please remember, you guys, because we are doing this because we all love one another, but we're also doing this because we want to stay connected with you all. So please make sure that you subscribe. I think you can click like a little bell
Yes,
to alert
subscribe.
any time that we have a video. So subscribe, click the alert bell. Also make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And then I think now we're on Spotify and Apple.
Yes, and like this video, like all the videos.
Thank you guys. See you next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Is that an insult?
Even Tori.